Hello and welcome to Build a Brand, Not Just a Feed. We have so much to go over today, so let's just jump straight into it. I'm so excited, so let's dive in. So let's just start with this, right? If your content was enough to grow a business, you'd already be rich. But content isn't king, context is. And without a brand behind it, you're just adding to the noise. You're not here because you want to post more. You're here because you want your presence to mean something. You want it to convert, to position you as the one, not just another one. This class is about fixing the invisible problem that's making your feed look fine, but feel forgettable. Let's fix that. Let's build a brand and not just a bunch of posts. So, part one is the cookie cutter crisis. Now, let's be real. Most people online are walking clones. They disagree with something until they see someone else go viral saying it, then voila. New belief unlocked. They swore they'd never do a certain kind of content until someone else blew up. Then that same exact post ends up in their feed. Here's the problem. Mimicking doesn't lead to mastery. It leads to mediocrity. And the only way you're going to get results you say you want is to build a brand that's actually yours. So I hear this a lot. Madeline, I don't even have a brand. And I'm here to tell you, you do. You do have a brand. You have a brand because you have a personality. And that's your brand. And it's only when you actually show it that you're able to build this brand though. Now, I get it. Trust me, I have been through this. I have actually just come out the other side of I'd almost call it I reached a ceiling. I reached a ceiling and reaching through to the next one, it's hard, it's heavy. I get it, I understand it, and it's always going to be a thing. But let's talk about it. So showing up vulnerably online, consistently, unapologetically, it's hard. We're scared of being seen. We are scared of being judged, of failing publicly, of succeeding and losing people, of being cringy, too much, not enough. We dilute ourselves. We plateau, or even worse, we never even start because we've overthought it so much. And now, we're just two in our heads. But that stops today. The bad news, which I actually think is good news, is every time you level up, a new devil shows up. Imposter syndrome doesn't go away, it evolves. And that's a sign that you're growing. That's why I think it's good news to me. New offers, new audience, new problems to solve. That's not a problem. It's proof that you're doing the thing. You didn't come this far to water yourself down. You came here to build something that actually lasts. So let's talk about it. Conviction converts. Now, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So have you got an opinion? You need to share it. Not a recycled, regurgitated take you saw somebody else say. I mean the thing that you'd bet your life on. You die on that hill. You're like, I know this is right and you can't tell me otherwise. The thing that no one could talk you out of. So why? It's because when you speak from that place, truth, confidence, conviction, you believe yourself. And belief is what sells. Think of your favorite creators. It's not just what they say, it's how they say it. It's their energy, their delivery. That's what people trust. You could be teaching in any niche. What matters is whether you sound like you own it. Now, P.S. if you're nodding along and you're thinking, damn, I actually need this. I needed to hear it. I need to learn how to implement it. Keep going. I'm hosting a free live workshop next week where we'll do this together, daily prompts, actions, and strategies to actually implement what you're learning here. So just stay tuned. Now, your task. You've got some tasks here because at the end of the day, I can sit here and I can tell you all the things, but ultimately what it actually comes down to is you need to take action. You need to do this. You need to start moving the needle because otherwise this just becomes another one of those masterclasses that you watched, left and thought, oh, yep, I need to do those things. A month goes by, 3 months go by, 6 months go by. You're still in the same place. You throw your hands up in the air and it's all too hard. You need to take action. Now, your first task is to claim your convictions. So I want you to get a pen and paper and I want you to write down 10 things you believe strongly about your niche. No parroting, no fluff, no regurgitation. I don't want you to think it because I think it. You could be completely disagreeing with what I'm saying right now and I'd appreciate that. You just need your real opinions. Then post one each day for 10 days. So the bonus points are for the spicy ones. I don't want to just hear like, oh, if you want to, you want to build your social media account, you need to post consistently. Like, obviously, we all know that. But let's talk, like, go deeper into it. Like, what do they need to do in consistency? Because you and I both know, well, maybe if you don't know, maybe this is something that I can teach you on. If you want to show up online consistently, it matters what you are saying is also consistent. It matters that you show up as the same person. It's not about like, okay, cool, I'm showing up one day as somebody who is growing my social media account. Then I'm a person that's cooking my dinners. Then I'm a person that's walking my dog. Then I'm a person that's traveling. Then I'm a person that is, 100 other things. And while I'm sure the majority of us have multiple versions of what's inside of us, the thing is, when you're talking about 100 different things online, people get confused. They lose interest. They followed you for one thing, but now you're talking about 10 other things and they're confused. So especially in the early beginning stages, you need to be consistent. But I feel like I could go on a whole other tangent about that. So let's just leave that there. But again, like, that's my thoughts on consistency. I 100% agree. You need to post consistently, but you need to be consistent in what you are posting. So that's my take. Again, I'd love to hear yours. So if you don't have 10 takes, right? You don't have 10 thoughts that you're just like, I'd die on that hill. 100%. I disagree on the opposite of this. I know this is right because this is what's worked for me. This is what I've learned, all the things. If you don't have 10 that you strongly stand behind, that's your cue to learn. Like that's you now knowing you've got room to grow. So just read a book. Watch a YouTube from an expert in your niche. Join a course, like that course you've been eyeing off. Jump into it. Dive right into it. Get obsessed with what you do. Become the expert that your audience needs. You need to have at least 10, and if you don't, that's your sign. And even if you do have the 10, ask yourself, where have you got room to grow? Because I'm the biggest believer that we have to learn something new every single day. So again, another thing that I could go on a whole tangent about. Now, your second task, brutally audit your content. Now, I want you to look at your last 30 posts and I want you to ask yourself, do I see me in this? Or is this a watered down version of myself? Would I watch this if it weren't mine? Does this make me stop, comment, and feel something? If you're bored of your own content, guess what? So is everyone else. Now, if it feels nothing, like if there's nothing in there that feels like it needs a reply, like you're watching it and you're not like, oh, I need to get in on this like little chat that's happening in the comments, that's why your engagement is low. If you're not thinking that about your own content, trust me, no one else is thinking that either. It stings, I know, but I'm not here to sugarcoat the truth for you. That doesn't grow your business. Calling it out actually does help you. So a bonus challenge that you can do that I'd love to see from you is to ask somebody offline, they really know your personality, to review your last 10 posts. Did it feel like you, or did it feel like they were watching someone that they don't even know? This is going to give you the biggest indicator on, are you really allowing your personality to come out online? And don't get me wrong, I know exactly what that's like to be like, hey bestie, can you please watch my content and tell me exactly what you think? And it can feel a little bit like, a little bit cringe, but this is what's going to help you take yourself to the next level. So if you're funny, like, this is what I really want you to understand, because again, I've been there, I've done that, and this is the whole thing, like, your personality needs to come out. If you're funny, crack a joke. Like, tell us a joke. If you're a nerd, drop some facts for us. Like, I love a good fact. If you're a dog mom, show us your pup. If you love to travel, show us some of, like, what your weekend lifestyle looks like. Like, just show us. Your personality is your brand. You need to show it off. Now, like, please just let people see it. It's just a reminder. If you can take anything from this masterclass, please let it be that. Your personality is your brand. This is why personal brands are so effective, is because nobody else has your personality. So nobody else can take your brand. Everybody else can sell your products. Everybody else can sell your offers. Everybody else can sell the same information that you have got, but nobody can sell it like you. Your personality is the key to it all. Now, I want you to stop polishing and start producing content. Now, if you're spending hours perfecting a Canva carousel, no one remembers it. like honestly, like no one's going to be like, God damn, I loved those little butterflies up in the corner that she did on that Canva carousel. That was like so neat. And I'm so glad she got it on the right angle and she overthought that for half an hour, whether she should put the butterflies or the stars. So glad. I'm so glad that she did that. No one is going to say that, right? You need to let it go. So yes, your quality matters. And honestly, like I could shout this from the rooftop, like clean your camera lens. Clean it. Cut your filler words, cut the ums, cut the ahs, frame your shot, make sure that you have enough room above your head, below your head, so that you can put captions, text on screen, all those things. Like you don't want to be like zoomed right in. You don't want to seem like you're somebody in the distance. Like obviously, yes, 100% get those things right. You don't want to look like it's got a dusty ass camera that no one's wiped for 100 years. Like 100%, absolutely quality matters. But beyond the basics, what matters more is the momentum, right? So you could have planned a whole month's worth of content, done market research in the time that you've spent obsessing over fonts. No one really cares what font you used. Like no one actually thinks about that. You need to audit how you're spending your time, and is it getting you closer to the sales or just making you feel like you're productive? Because, yeah, sure, you could spend 5 hours in your business today making Canva carousels. Is that going to move the needle? Probably not. Probably not. But you're going to say to me, oh, but this business takes up so much of my time every single day. And it's like, yeah, but are you actually getting the results from where you're putting your time in? You need to be smart with it, especially in the beginning stages. And honestly, all through all growth stages, because every time you get to your next level, something more is going to be required from you. Now, visibility versus value. Are you being visible or are you valued? Now, you're going to know exactly the answer to this, and it might sound a little bit tricky to start with, but let me tell you something. Are you visible and you're getting views on your content? People are like, yeah, cool, that's great, rah-de-rah-de-rah. Or are you actually valued? Are people jumping into your world? They're jumping into your offers. They're like, I actually respect everything that she says. And you know what? I have trust in her. I value her opinion. You're going to know the difference between the two, because if you're visible, you're not making sales. You're valued, you're making sales. It actually gets to be that simple. So getting the views, it doesn't mean that you're building the trust, right? So here's the difference between the two. Let me give you a quick example. So person A, right? Person A, generic marketing tips. They've got no proof. They've got no personal story. They're just like, all right, cool. If you want to grow on social media this week, here's 3 things that you need to do. And it's just like, okay, cool. But you said that, and so did every other person on social media. Person B, they're giving real advice, a clear framework, their own personal framework, personal results, and depth. Like they're actually speaking about it with conviction, because they've gone through the things, they've figured out what works, they're giving you the story, they're showing you like, this is what happens when you create content like this. This is what happens when you position your offers and products and all those kind of things, like all the marketing advice. So like, this is what's going to happen. And when you're on the other side of it, this is what's going to happen. And I can tell you that because I've been through it, all the things, right? Who do you buy from? You're always going to buy from the person that shows why it works and why it matters. You don't need a new strategy. You just need to go deeper. So whatever you've got right now, get all the generic stuff that you've got, pile it all up and ask yourself, how do I go deeper with this? You don't need new offers. You don't need new products. You don't need all that. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you do. Maybe you're just selling something that's so generic that every single person has offered, and it's not really standing out because you're not marketing it and you're not building a personal brand, but also like everybody else is selling something similar. Like, what's your framework? What do you know? How do you get it to work? You need to be so confident with that. And remember what I said, if you don't have those 10 things, you don't have that framework, you don't have those results, go and get them. Go and learn from them, right? Go and learn it all and then bring it back, and people are going to respect you a lot more. So I want you to ask yourself, like, where could I have been more honest? Where could I be more honest? Not been, but also be moving forward. What have I been too scared to say? Why should anyone listen to me over somebody else? And just answer those questions honestly. Like, just honestly ask yourself. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't be like, oh, here you go. Like, here's a tap on the back, sweetie. You're doing a great job. That's not going to get you anywhere. Let the truth hurt. Brutally, honestly ask yourself these questions. All right, so we're just going to go over a quick recap and just 4 content shifts that build brands, okay? So we've just recently spoken about this, but unfiltered opinions over pretty carousel. So if you haven't triggered someone with your content, you're probably not saying anything worth hearing. Post the things in your drafts, the one that you're scared to hit publish on, like you've written it, you've looked at it, and you know it's fire, but you're like, the one that's going to create obsession or conversation, right? So an example would be something along the lines, and look, we're all in different niches, there's all different examples. I'm just going to run with this one here. So an example would be if your entire brand is helping people build 6-figure businesses, but you've never hit 10K yourself, you're not building a business, you're role playing as somebody who is. That is an imposter syndrome. That is just lying. People are going to be like, oh, that was a little savage, but you know what? She's right. I agree. Because how many people do you see out here in their bios being like, I can help, I'm a 6-figure coach, but they haven't even made 10K themselves. It doesn't work, right? Post the carousels with things like that where people just like, yep, that's the truth. Like that's an actual fact, right? All right, now trends work if you use your brain around them, okay? Like it's actually going to be that simple. I don't want to hear the garbage of it's not about the views, blah, 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 like whatever. Honestly, if you're not going for visibility, guess what? You're doing your ideal client a disservice because your content isn't getting out there. So they're never going to find you. And all that help that you could have given them, you'll never be able to. And therefore, it's wasted help, wasted potential, like all the things it's just wasted. However, on the flip side of that, if you're just doing trends because it's an easy piece of content and you saw somebody else go viral, honestly, just stop it. Like that's not helping you. When you utilize trends, make them your own. How are you directly relating it back to your niche so that you attract the right people into your world? Now, top of funnel content is important. It should be like, depends where you're at, but like, let's say it should be like 60 to 70% of your content. And trends are a great way to get this. It's just, you need to get that content out there, but you need to do it in a way that directly relates to you, not just be the 100th person on the trend, lip syncing an audio, just generic as. Doesn't work, not going to help you. If you put it directly into your niche, directly related to you, with your opinions, with your thoughts, and make it relatable, people are going to get it. So an example would be, I've seen so many people talking about, right, lately, so many people talking about how easy it is to make money with quote pages lately, right? They don't want to show up online. They don't want to build their personal brand. They just want to like pretty much post an Instagram reel and let the cash roll in, right? That's what they want. And honestly, here to tell you, sure, yeah, 100%, you might get it to work if you like build a huge following, but it's going to take time. It's not an overnight process. But I personally believe you're going to get the most sustainable, scalable business out of a personal brand. So you could post something, right? It could be like you could find an audio that suits it and put something on the screen of like point of view, me realizing my aesthetic feed full of quotes and tips made me exactly $0. Right? So people will relate to it. They'll find it funny. People in your niche, not everyone's going to get that, right? So you could be like, oh yeah, but the person that doesn't know it isn't going to understand it. It's like, good. Not everyone is supposed to understand it. Not everyone is supposed to be like, oh my God, that was hilarious. Because you know what? If everyone gets it, no one actually gets it. So you just want the right people to understand it. The right people will find it funny. We've all tried different ways to make money online, like been there, done that. Haven't made a cracker in some different things that I've tried, but people appreciate the honesty. Like, stop trying to be someone you're not, right? All right. Bullshit claims, it breaks trust. Bullshit claims are going to equal broken trust. And it's actually that simple. So if your content says you make $100K a month, but your Stripe screenshot says $117.39, like bugger all, you're the problem. Like, you are the problem. Be real about where you're at. People trust progress more than perfection. Go delete and rewrite any post where you exaggerated something because you saw somebody else do it. Then post a story or a caption that says, like, what I can confidently teach you right now is this. Like, whatever it is in your niche, whatever you can actually teach them, tell them that. Own your truth. Like, watch your trust skyrocket if you actually are truthful with what you are doing and where you're at. Another post idea could be, haven't made $100,000 yet, but I have made enough to know what works, what's bullshit, and what will leave you broken bitter. So if you want strategies from someone who's in it, not pretending to be a millionaire on a Bali rooftop, I'm your girl. Like, you get the picture. People are going to appreciate your honesty. And trust me, I have got multiple businesses. People are going to celebrate you more at 10K than they will 100K, so on and so forth. Own where you're at. You will become more relatable. Now, posting daily without a brand is just like digital vomit. You don't need more content. You need clarity. Posting every day without knowing what the hell you're standing up for is how you end up broke and burnt out with a feed full of just like filler crap that you've just posted because you're like, oh, need to make a post today. And that's what you've got in there, right? It's not actually getting you anywhere. Now, I'm just reminding you to go through those 10 things you believe in and start posting them. Don't copy and paste this because like, again, like my beliefs are different to your beliefs. And this is why I can't tell you without knowing you, knowing you, knowing your brand, knowing where you're going. I can't tell you exactly what to post. But we have different beliefs. And, to me, mine's right. To you, yours is right. Doesn't mean that either are wrong. You just need to know what it is that you believe in. So I'm just going to give you an example. But again, don't copy and paste this because we're all different. But like, instead of saying, 3 ways to make money online 2025, honestly, that's so boring. Like, I've heard that so many times now. We've all heard that. It's nothing interesting about it. But it's like, if you tried something like 3 unhinged things I did to make money online this month because your girl's got bills to pay, people are going to be like, what is she doing? Like, what is that about? Well, that seems interesting. It's relatable. Everyone's got bills, right? Like, don't need to pretend that you're like, yeah, that girl in Bali living on a rooftop. Like, that's not relatable to the majority of us, right? So what makes you relatable? And also, on top of that, I'm not saying to downplay it, right? If you have a good life, and again, I have been through this, if you have a good life, you have a good lifestyle, a lifestyle you used to dream of, show it off. Be proud of it. Be like, this is so cool. Like, this is where I was and this is where I've gotten to. So, just be realistic. It puts you as your authority because you're saying what's actually worked, right? It's interesting that back to the example that I gave. It's interesting because we all want to know what was unhinged about it. Tell us more. Like, what did you do? What apps did you sign up to? Like, what are you doing, right? It's your chance to let your personality shine as well. Now, again, don't use that example unless that's something that you literally would say. You've said, you'd say those words, you've done those things, because if you just say it because I have given you an example, people are going to find out. When they find out you're full of it, then they're not going to trust you. If you don't trust you, then they're not going to buy from you. And you're just going to go around in this vicious circle. So, let's not do that. I'm just going to give you a really, really, really quick rundown of why this works because there actually is a psychology behind it. I'm not just pulling things out of thin air, right? So you can Google these as well. So the mirror exposure effect, if you want to know more, honestly, like I'm happy to have a chat about this. I love this kind of stuff, but I'm just going to give you a quick rundown. So the mirror exposure effect, we trust what we see more often. So it only if it feels aligned, right, though? Like we have to be like, yeah, I agree with that. And then we see it all the time. And then we're like, yeah, I trust this person because she's consistently showing up. She's consistently talking about the same things. I agree. So polished content, it gets skipped because it doesn't feel authentic, right? But real talk, it gets shared. So like, if we've seen a post, we've seen someone talking about something and we wholeheartedly agree with that and we've seen it like 15, 20 times, the chances are you're going to start commenting on it. You are going to send it to your friend, send it to your partner. You are going to enter their world in some way, shape or form because you've seen it multiple times and you trust it and you agree with it. Now, the IKEA effect is we value what we co-create, okay? So even if it's not perfect, but we feel as though we've helped create it, we're like, oh, wow, I'm so proud of that. When your audience sees themselves in your message, they'll stick around with you. Loyalty builds when people feel like they belong. So you need to really consider that. Like, how are you bringing your community in? How are you, building something that feels special to people, that they feel like they know you? Now, the halo effect is when you're speaking with conviction, people assume you're legit. Like they will just take your word for it before they even ask for your credentials. They probably won't even ask for them because they just trust you. Conviction builds credibility. It's so important to remember that. There's multiple things that I really want you to walk away with that from this today. But some things are just that your personal brand is your personality. You've got one. You just need to learn how to show it. I know it's easier said than done, but that's what I'm here to help you with. Conviction builds credibility. If you say something like, oh, I am trying to grow my grass. I'm looking outside the window. I'm trying to like grow my grass, and I was thinking that maybe if I watered it 3 times a day and put down this new fertilizer that I found, maybe it would work. Oh my God, I'm not even going to watch that whole thing. I'm just going to be like, skip, see you later. Whereas if you're like, okay, guys, if you want to get your grass great before summer, I have got the exact product that's going to help you. All you need is to just follow these quick 3 steps and you'll see like miracle results. People are going to be like, oh, sign me up. I would like some green grass. So just remember that. Now, your brand, it doesn't need to be louder. It just needs to be braver. So you need to say what you came here to say, be the version of you your audience is waiting for, and stop building a feed. Start building a movement. Now, a reminder of what I said before about the workshop. If you want daily support in putting this into action, I'm running a free live workshop June 9th, which is Monday, the Monday coming. We'll go deep, we'll get practical, and you'll walk away knowing exactly what you want to post and why it works. So if you're in, I will see you inside. If you're not, I hope you've gotten enough away from this. Any questions whatsoever, send them my way. Oh my goodness, excuse me, the last sentence. Send them my way, but I'm super excited and I will talk to you soon.